and welcome to an Algebra Prep Academy video presented by Polonius, Kappa, Prom Queen, and Broham Shabala Ding Dong. Today we will be talking about telescoping series. These series always have the form of summation to infinity while n equals 1 of b of n minus b of n plus 1.
We'll start with an extremely simple series, the sum from n to infinity of 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. To solve this, start writing out the series, plugging in n's. You should soon notice that many of these terms cancel each other out. In the sequence, only the very first term remains, and so everything but the very last term will cancel out. This leaves us with 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. Now, to find the sum of the series, we take the limit as n approaches infinity, and this gives us an answer of 1. Therefore, the sum of our telescoping series is that the sum of the series converges to 1.
This next example is the sum of n to infinity of 1 over 3n minus 1 over 3n plus 3. This is almost in the form we need it in, we just have to factor out 3 from the denominator, so it ends up being 1/3 times 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. We can write this out as 1 over 3 times 1 over 1 minus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3, and so on. From here we can see that several of these terms cancel out, so we can go ahead and cross them out. Once we cross them out, we get that the series is equal to the limit as n approaches infinity of 1/3 times 1 minus n plus 1, which is equal to 1/3 times 1 minus 1 over infinity plus 1, which is equal to 1/3 times 1 minus 0, which is equal to 1/3. Therefore, the series converges to 1/3 by a telescoping series.
Our next example demonstrating the telescoping series test will be the summation as n approaches infinity of 1 over n plus 3 multiplied by n plus 1. We need to use partial fraction decomposition to further simplify this. So, pause video to see the steps. This will simplify this to the summation as n approaches infinity of negative 1/2 over n plus 3 plus 1/2 over n plus 1. We can pull out a 1/2 to simplify this to 1/2 multiplied by the summation as n approaches infinity of negative 1 over n plus 3 plus 1 over n plus 1. And then we want to change it so the term being subtracted is second to get it in the telescoping series form. So after doing that, we can write out the summation. Now we need to write out the summation because we need to look for a pattern for what cancels out and what does not cancel out. That is very important. So after writing this out, I will be you'll be able to see what crosses out and what does not cross out. So everything being crossed out in red cancels out after writing all this out. Everything circled in blue does not cancel out. Now the beginning will always parallel the end. If 2 are not canceled out in the beginning, 2 will not cancel out in the end. So then we want to take all those terms and that don't cancel out and then just keep them. So we'll take the limit as n approaches infinity of 1/2 multiplied by the terms that don't cancel out, which would be 1/2, 1/3, and negative 1 over n plus 2, and negative 1 over n plus 3. We can plug in infinity, so by taking the limit as n approaches infinity, and then 1 over infinity is equal to 0, so everything simplifies to 1/2 multiplied by 1/2 plus 1/3. So we want to add 1/2 and 1/3, get a common denominator, and then multiply 1/2, then we get 5 over 12. And then what this essentially means is that the summation as n approaches infinity of 1 over n plus 3 multiplied by n plus 1 converges to 5/12 by the telescoping series test.
Thanks for watching our video. Remember, this is Algebra Prep Academy. Please like and subscribe and watch more of our videos.